Good morning. I'm John Idelson, and I'm the pitch hit moderator for HigherEdTECH. We have three great sessions that we're going to be presenting here, and we're going to start right away with our first one. We have, if you look at your program, two presenters. You could read the former bio in the program, but Robbie and her organization just received an IMS Global Learning Award. That's sort of like I guess the Emmys and the Oscars in higher education. And Robbie was also listed as one of the 50 top innovators. Mohit will also be presenting with her and about GoClass. So Robbie, we're going to turn it over to you to get started.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Robbie Melton. Life is good. I'm coming to you. There you go. Okay. This may or may not work. This doesn't bother me. I'm an educator. I'm going to come to you differently. I'm an Associate Vice Chancellor for the Tennessee Board of Regents. We are the only system of higher ed with a strategic plan for mobilization. We recognize that our students are going to come with all of these. And we cannot afford to say you can only come with an iPad or Windows, because I'm going to take a quick survey. All of you with an Apple mobile device, just kind of raise your hand. Life is good for you. All of you with an Android device, please raise your hand. Life is good for you. All right, let's hit Windows. Anyone with Windows? Life is good for you? Anyone with new? In other words, you don't even know the name of it. Raise your hand. All right, anyone with a mobile device that can hit the internet, that can take your heartbeat, that can also telephone you, and here it is, everyone. It is my watch. Raise your hand. One person. You have to understand, on behalf of higher ed, WCET and all of the organizations across this globe, for higher ed, we're going to have students to come to us with devices that we don't even know of. They are going to change the way we teach, we learn, we research, and we have to prepare the faculty. I understand about all of the problems. I know them all. I'm that old. I'm so old, I'm older than the internet. So, life is good. So on behalf of all of the colleagues here and all of the systems of higher ed, I'm coming to you because I need solutions. So I have some products that I'm going to share with you that will help transform teaching and learning with mobile devices. So if this PowerPoint works, life is good. If not, life is good. So I'm going to grab the clicker, and if I don't have the clicker, someone will click for me. So again, we know that, thank you, Mohit, that it's changing the way we teach and learn, and all of you right now are multitasking. You're listening to me, but you're checking those emails, and you're making sure that that flight is ready for you to hit Southwest at the same time. This is today's learning environment. So I have to make sure that you get the concept of what we have to share with you, as well as making sure that you take care of your business. So we're talking about engagement, and I see a hand, yes. Yes, as I said, it might work, it might not. This is the reason, everyone, for higher ed. We can't get into will a technology teach us? We are teachers. So I know what I need to say with you. I have all of these devices here. Let me share with you. Wouldn't you love to come into your classroom where, regardless of what type of device you have, I'm able to take it and you're able to look at your device and you will see what I have here, and it shows up on your device instantly. Wouldn't you love, as a professor, where your students are so engaged that you are teaching. But if someone would like to check their emails, you would know in the back instantly if that person is off task, and you would be able to say, Jeffrey, I need you back on task. I have that solution right now. Wouldn't it be nice if you had analytics, where as you are teaching, you knew if your students were engaged? Wouldn't it be nice if I can see what you're doing and I can write on my screen, whether it is with an Android, an Apple, a Windows, and I can deploy it instantly and you would see it just like that? Wouldn't it be nice if I can use my own content just like that? And all of you are quiet because you want to see what type of solution I'm talking about. Are you all ready? Well, I think the PowerPoint is ready. Well, let me introduce to you something that will look at student engagement, classroom management, assessment, and evaluation. I would like to introduce to you GoClass.
I'm Mohit, Bhargava, president of a company called LearningMate. We make a mobilization platform called GoClass. And GoClass is designed for both K-12 and higher ed. What we're doing with GoClass is building a cloud-based platform that's designed to manage engagement in a classroom, as well as manage engagement outside of the classroom. So we're breaking down the walls and focusing not just on blended learning, but on hybrid learning, on learning that's happening in a continuum of time and space in the classroom and outside the classroom. I'm going to walk you through this experience because we can talk about it till the cows come home, but just taking a look at a very quick snapshot of what is that life or day in the life of a teacher and student. And then we can take questions about that experience. I'm a teacher. I walk in. I have an iPad in this case. I pick up this iPad, and so I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach this lesson on Earth, our planet. Incidentally, it's a lesson that has volcanoes in it. Quick review of the lesson plan. These are all digital learning resources that have been sequenced into a lesson plan that's going into the classroom. Keep in mind, why are we doing digital learning resources? There's a multitude of reasons, political, social, that are happening today in the dynamics of our schools and colleges that are saying we want digital learning materials in the classroom. We've been doing this in the online world for years. Here's a mechanism to talk about doing it in the classroom. Why do I like it? Not just cost. You can track it. You can run analytics on it. You can mark it up. You can share it. There's a lot you can do with digital materials you can't do with a textbook. So there's a strong case for doing that. Bringing digital materials in the classroom means that you need a lot of infrastructure to do that. So we're going to assume that we have that infrastructure in place, and we can talk about that separately. But then let's take a look at what that looks like. Here's a lesson plan. In our platform, every element of a lesson plan is embedded in a sequence, and every element of this lesson plan has 3 attributes. What do we show? Show could be as simple as what you do in a textbook. Turn to page 17, right? That's what you show. It could be a long division problem we work out on a whiteboard. It could be a chemistry equation. It could be a YouTube video, something from the Khan Academy. Show is any artifact that we are building our learning around in that moment in that classroom. The next attribute to elements in our lesson plan is what are we going to talk about? What correlates to our teaching standards? What are those benchmarks we need to hit as a teacher in the classroom? What's in your teacher notes? What's in the teacher guide that your publisher gave you? That's what we talk about when we say explain. And ask is formative assessment. We are big believers in granular formative assessment. If you marry granular formative assessment with digital learning resources, you've got a data stream coming out of your classroom you've never had before. How effective is my learning plan? How effective is my location of this content in my learning plan? Who in this classroom is getting it? What misconceptions are they dealing with? How do we interpret those misconceptions? Which groups of learners do we need to put together with other groups of learners? How do we drive Vygotsky learning in the classroom? All of these things are as a result of using curriculum resources and granular formative assessment, bringing them together in a very easily deployed manner. let's talk about what easy deployment means. We've got a couple of different types of screen real estate in this classroom. We've got the device in your pocket. We've got the screen in the front of us. So I'm going to broadcast an interactive on the solar system out to your devices. Each student here has independent control over that content. They are not exploring it in isolation. They're going to explore it in a directed environment. This is directed exploration with teacher assisting. The teacher is going to work by using the front of the class along with the material on your device to engage you. This is a full interactive whiteboard. We can interact with it. I can give control of this whiteboard to anybody in the classroom, and everything we do here goes home with you. It stays in your account forever. It's persistent. You can come back and search with any curriculum metadata and find any notes you ever took, every little element that the teacher did, every worked out example, along with what traditionally used to be a textbook. In addition, I have formative assessment that I take those devices in your pocket, transform them into a student response system. I have full analytics at the back end. The teacher has real-time feedback as to what's happening in the classroom, and we are tracking this at the back end. No scattergraphs. People know scattergraphs. I've been through enough scattergraphs in this industry. How many people here know how to read a scattergraph? 2. I take it you're a statistics grad. Now, instead, we're talking about actionable data, data that teachers can use. What we're doing here is building a teaching workflow that extends outside of the classroom, but leverages the device in your pocket along with the device with the screen in front of you. This is designing an engagement using the type of devices and the type of interfaces that our learners are wiring their brains today from the age of 2 years old to work with. And we are bringing that in the classroom so that we keep you engaged. Our learners today are natively multitaskers. So what we're trying to do is we need to go from here to here. This is Dr. Matthew Smith at Walter State Community College. He is working in an environment where technology is not a scaffold for a book. Technology is native. He's using GoClass here. Every student has a device. They're working in a digital environment. This entire lesson experience goes home with them. I'm going to hand this back to Robbie here to talk about who's using this, where are we trying this out, and then we'll, a call to action, bring you guys in because it's a free product.
Again, this is a free product, and we are trying this with our Tennessee Technology Centers, our community colleges, our universities, workforce development, and our K-12 partner. And again, you see we're using it across our discipline from the humanities, English, history, sociology, teacher education, on and on. But let me sum it up to you all. As a teacher, and I've been a teacher for over 48 years. Yes, look closely, good makeup. I'm able to come to you, take my device, and what I have on my screen, I can deploy it to all of you on your device, regardless of what you have. I can then engage you. I can write on it. I can pull up websites. I can pull up my own lesson plans, my content, and it doesn't matter because I can track. I have analytics, and I can look. Can I use this as a teaching tool, learning tool, instructional tool, collaboration, classroom management, workforce? These are things that we are studying, piloting, and we will share all of our research with you because we have to work together. So on behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, we have also collected 60,000 plus workforce and educational apps from preschool to Ph.D., career, per device, per age level, and 125 subjects, all for you all. And again, it's to share. Come to our website, find out about GoClass, and again, life is good.
Okay, thank you. Don't go so fast. Clearly, Tennessee does not enforce child labor laws. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't go so fast. We're going to give a couple questions before you guys go. One, obviously, you're enthused about this and you love your product. What is the response of the teachers in the classroom who are doing this?
I can answer that because I have some of the instructors here. We have Tim from the Tennessee Technology. We have Jeffrey. In other words, they're able to teach and not worry about the technology. They're able to engage their students, their instructors. But again, I can honestly say this is one company that didn't just give us the product. They actually went on site and stayed overnight in the hills of Tennessee to find out what's going on. Mohit, you want to say something about it?
Yes, the experience here of working with teachers has been pretty amazing. We've got video recordings on YouTube, on various websites. Just Google GoClass, and you'll see interviews. And what they're saying, and a very interesting feedback that I'll just share with you, Dr. Smith, whose picture is here. He said, I can see this technology dramatically changing the way I teach in 5 years. I can use it today. His students came in and said, and this is something that got tears to my eyes. We interviewed one of his students, and she came up and said, I said, so how do you see this? How do you think you're going to use GoClass? She said, I had a really fun time in class, but you know what? I can use this at the dentist's office. I have my phone everywhere. I can use this on the bus. And I have my laptop at home. I can go home. Learning's going with me. I can learn everywhere. That was the promise we made to our students when we started talking about e-learning 15 years ago. A student came and told this to me. That brought tears to my eyes.
Okay. One question for the audience.
Hi, I'm Margie Batchelor with Penn State University Continuing Ed. I really like the statewide effort that you're having with this in Tennessee. Given the federal and state budget for higher education being decreased, I was just kind of curious to know how you got buy-in around the state for this program, or what type of funding or budget proposals you were able to put forward.
How about I have a chancellor, John Morgan, who was able to recognize walking on a campus that over 90% of the students had a mobile device. And most of them were playing Angry Birds. Realizing if you have a mobile device that you can hook a blood pressure cuff to and take in a rural area, and you can actually save lives, and you wouldn't want to invest in that, he recognized that this should be a system-wide strategic effort and took money within his office and created an Office of Mobilization and Emerging Technology and funded it on his own without any type of grant money or whatever, because he sees this as the teaching tool for learning and workforce development if we're going to stay abreast for worldwide global advancement.
Okay, thank you. And we'll stay up here on the panel because hopefully we'll be able to talk among the panelists. And our next panelist is from the, make sure I get the right title here, General Manager of Steelcase Educational Solutions. I imagine there isn't a person sitting in this room who hasn't sometime touched the Steelcase product. You're 100 years old as a company, but it will be very interesting to hear what we have to hear about how Steelcase is looking at this mix of high-tech and EDU.
Great. Thanks, John. So I thought I'd start with, since this is a kind of an educational setting, start with some questions for the class. So how many of you work for technology companies that have been around for less than 6 months? Did I see one? Oh, a couple out there. 1 year, less than 1 year. A few more. Less than 5 years? A lot. Less than 10 years? Less than 50 years. I would think that's everybody. Okay, so I work for a company that turned 100 last year, Steelcase. And Steelcase is known primarily for office furniture, right? So what am I doing up here, right? So I don't think of us as a furniture company as much as a company that that actually does a lot of research into the behavior, the activities, and the interactions that go on in three-dimensional physical space, the physical spaces, and how do we create solutions that will make those interactions, those behaviors, those collaborations more effective. So, so that's what we do. And you all, a lot of you develop technology that live in a context, whether it's somebody's office at home or in a company or in a school, in a classroom. They all live in a context, or online, that's a context. And so we focus a lot on the physical context, and I want you to think more about that environment. So that's what we're going to talk about here. So who are we? The education group is a dedicated group within Steelcase, focused only on education, primarily secondary and higher education. We're research-based. We don't develop anything that's not based on our human-centered design research. And we're known for furniture, but we also develop some tools, technologies, and it's mostly focused on learning spaces. So the actual physical environments, whether it's a classroom, whether it's a library, the places that people study and get together to learn. Our processes vary. If any of you know about the design firm out in California, IDEO, David Kelly was just on 60 Minutes on Sunday with Charlie Rose. We have worked with them for probably 25 years and really built a process around human-centered design. And so it's very observational based. We go out in the world. We go into classrooms. We go into libraries. We go into residence halls. We talk to faculty. We talk to students. We talk to deans and provosts and superintendents. And we look at the environments, and we try to understand where are the unmet needs, where are the good problems to solve. As David Kelly says, that's what innovation is about, finding good problems to solve. And so when we go into classrooms all around the country or the world, and the pictures you're going to see, these are all classrooms that we took pictures of in the last 4 to 5 years, okay? We see this. Not a lot of technology in this classroom. Probably the furniture is 40 or more years old. Private college in the Midwest. The teacher told me that he'd love to put his students in groups, but there's just no way to do it, to have them collaborate. $45,000 private college in Silicon Valley, chalkboards. Community college in the Midwest. Love this one. Another community college. This is the context that your technology, your solutions might go into, but often they don't because they're just not up to par. Now, those are all probably 30 or 40 or 50 years old, 60 years old. What about new classrooms with new technology? Well, that's this. Doesn't look a lot different, does it? This is about 5 years old, and this one's brand new. Does have an interactive whiteboard, but static, traditional. So the context hasn't changed, even though the technology, the students, the pedagogy's changed. So that's a bit of a problem. So how can we change the game and create learning environments worthy of your new technology? I've even had tech directors tell me they're waiting to put the technology into the classrooms until the classrooms can keep up with the technology. So we can do it by designing a learning ecosystem, not with those obsolete templates, that supports new pedagogies, new technologies, multiple teaching styles. Teachers teach, a lot of them teach very differently. Multiple learning styles. We know that we all have different learning styles and learning preferences, and are we reaching them all? With a lot of flexibility and the ability to reconfigure those environments as needed for those multiple modes of teaching and learning, and all about inspiring today's students, the Gen Y, the millennials, that have different expectations than I did, or you did, many of you, when you went to class. So we've landed on a framework that we believe really can help us do that. And it's very simple. We say start with the pedagogy, start with the curriculum and the content and the goals of the teaching, and the technology and the space should be in service to that. So to create an integrated, truly active, as opposed to passive, boring, sage on the stage, the thing I'm doing in class, think about all of those in context and let the technologies, the space, and the furniture support that, okay? So just a few examples. So we make furniture, we also make technology, but this is a chair. How can a chair help improve learning? And that's our focus. How do we help the world improve student success and learning outcomes? Put your backpack in the bottom, it's got wheels, we can move around at will. The most requested accessory for this was a cup holder. So we added one, but we also added a tablet stand to maximize the use of the space on the chair. It's called Node. You can also hang your backpack on the arm. And if the teacher wants to, lecture lower left, do it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Put them into groups, upper left, do it in seconds. Go into discussion mode, have the students present back to the class. So we've minimized the downtime between these modes, and we've basically made it a much more active learning environment. Mediascape is a way to share digital content by marrying furniture and technology in a way that just lowers the barrier between sharing content between students. So on the picture on the lower right, pull out the puck from the media well, plug it into your laptop, push the green button, your content's up. Everybody else around the table has done the same thing, so you can just mix and match, share at will, okay? A mobile version on the upper right. LearnLab, it's a classroom, it's technology, it's furniture, it's a classroom configuration, it's rethinking the classroom, getting rid of the front of the room so that there's no bad seat in the house. You can't hide out. Very collaborative, instantaneous switch between modes, lecture and not, and multiple stages for the teacher and the students, 3 projectors on the ceiling, triangulation of projection. That's in our university. Mediascape is also being used a lot. It's really growing in libraries. UCLA, did somebody from UCLA out there? And if you're changing the pedagogy in the classroom to use more project-based, team-based learning, where do those teams study before and after class? Well, they need places to do that, and that's happening in libraries as the books are going away. So we're freeing up space. And then I think this is the last picture, Mediascape Classroom. This is at the Virginia Commonwealth School of Medicine. And the picture on the upper right shows kind of a floor plan. And so they wanted the ability to have teamwork going on in the classroom. And I think it was Steve Laster from McGraw-Hill said, remember, the classroom now, that's the most expensive teaching going on, because we can learn online. But if you're going to be mixing it up and doing blended learning, then let's think about that whole context. So here, the students can work together, the teacher can lecture from anywhere, the content is ubiquitous. So that's all I'm going to talk about here. Thank you very much. If you have a chance, come to our booth at the Venetian 71214.
Okay, we're going to, thank you. Don't go so far. We're going to do a quick question while we change computers. Yeah. And there's been all this talk about the new virtual spaces and the online spaces. Clearly, you're in the brick and mortar business. Do you see the changes happening? I mean, technology, I get a new iPhone every 6 months. I can't completely do all new furniture every 6 months. So what's going to happen in that brick and mortar space?
Very good question. And we're doing a lot of research on blended and online learning. And obviously, if it just went all online, then that changes the world for a lot of us. But somebody mentioned earlier the Khan Academy and Salman Khan and flipping the classroom. Well, that term is actually only 3 years old, flipping. And that whole concept of, do your homework in class and do the lecture online outside of class, do it at home or in a coffee shop. Well, the solutions, so that means that what happens in the classroom is really going to change as the pedagogies and the technology changes. So we have to be ready for that. So I think it just, John, it doesn't mean that it's going away. It means that you got to think about it differently and use it differently to leverage those, those new forces.
Okay, Bobby, are you in the audience? Is there a question in the audience?
How many of you would like to have all of that furniture in your settings? Question. Any other questions? But can't you see how it would influence the way you were able to teach?
We got a question.
Hi, my name is James Hines. I ran a co-working facility in San Francisco, and the nature of the co-working that we're now developing is on the EdTech market space. So I think it's pretty incredible that your furniture could look at how that vertical could be supplemented by the type of furniture that you would not only test from the developer's point of view, but that we can utilize in other environments. So my question is, are you looking at co-working or other type of new alternate learning opportunities as clients?
Co-working as in more on the corporate side?
No, in the startup side.
Maybe I don't
A
completely
co-working meaning, it's a place that normally companies come in and stay from 3 months to 6 months as they graduate from one form of business to the next.
Yeah. Yeah, we are, and actually that's a great point. I mean, I think a lot of, since we're all mobile these days, there's a growing trend towards having more effective sort of co-working and touchdown type facilities. We have a place in Chicago called WorkSpring. And actually we're seeing that the kinds of things we're learning in education and the kind of things we're learning in the corporate side, are really kind of blending and kind of cross-pollinating. So we learn a lot on the corporate side that goes into our education business, a lot on the education side that goes into our corporate business. But we're all collaborating. We're all mobile with our technology. We all need places to, be more inspired and work better wherever we are. And so, absolutely, and the answer is yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully you have some questions for the panel in the whole, but we want to move on and have our third speaker. Scott is, we started with GoClass, and we saw some pictures of Changed Classroom. Sean just showed us what those classrooms might look like, and you're going to talk about what's in the pack of the kids in those classrooms?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
So Steelcase is 100 years old, and Ginkgotree is 1 year old. So we're much younger. In fact, we've only been developing our product for 6 months, pretty much a blink of an eye compared to how long you guys have been around. But nevertheless, I think what I'm about to talk about ties in really well with some of the points that Walt and Joel touched on, specifically the mind-boggling expense of higher education. The fact is it's leaving my generation completely screwed.
And then you used a question. Sorry about that.
So Ginkgotree is a web app that lets faculty build and compile their own custom online digital course packs. Essentially, it's the ultimate hub for all of your course materials. You can use it to replace course packs or textbooks or however you see fit. We can literally take a list of links, citations, and books and journal articles and turn them into a course pack. So what Tumblr is for your blog and Facebook is for your life's timeline, Ginkgotree is for your course materials. So the fact is that textbooks are roughly a $10 billion market. It depends on if you include K-12 or higher ed or put both of those together. And students spend $600 on average every semester on course materials. That's a lot of money. And since one of the huge things that we need to tackle, not just technology moving forward, the way we teach and how we learn, but how we lower the cost, or at least keep it where it is. Now, at state universities, believe it or not, that course material expense is equivalent to 26% of tuition. At community colleges, it's equivalent to 72% of tuition. And the thing is if you think about it, if you're a student, you don't see this sticker price until you actually sign up for the class and get the syllabus and go to the bookstore and find out, I need $700 to put on Dad's credit card. I mean, that's never part of the sticker price of going to college. And the fact is this is a real problem. So how do we fix this? I mean, there's obviously already been other solutions for course materials that are out there, one of them being course packs. They've been around for a while. If you're not familiar with them, essentially course pack is a printed stack of paper. It's sometimes, if your university can manage to deal with the copyrights licensing, you can actually pull sections of books and put them into course packs. Traditionally, they're a combination of the instructor's own material and some journal articles and things that are a bit easier to license. Those course packs are then typically sold in the student bookstore for anywhere from $40 to $60 in place of a textbook, which, $60, it's a lot less than, $200, and that's still less than most e-textbooks. So because of things like this, there's some interesting statistics and effects. For example, 7 in 10 students have actually skipped buying a textbook and just tried taking the class anyway. I can't imagine it has very good effects at all on the student's learning experience, not even having the course material. And the fact is we really need to do something about this. It's not just the expense of the university of attending school, but it's the expense of course materials. And that's what Ginkgotree tries to do. So I'm not going to talk too much more about the problem. I think most of you in the room are probably very well aware of that. I think I can just jump into a quick demo here. This is a quick snapshot of what Ginkgotree looks like. Honestly, instead of showing you this, how about I just show you the actual application. OK, so this is Ginkgotree up and running. Again, it's a web app. It's completely device agnostic. You can use this on an iPad, a laptop. You can use it on a smartphone. But the fact is according to the most recent statistics I saw out of EDUCAUSE, that about over 95% of college students have laptops. That's iPads are really only being used in the case where the school is actually buying the iPad for the students. So we chose to make this a web app. That way, it works on pretty much anything. Internet Explorer, Safari, Chrome, doesn't matter. It's very easy to use. What you're seeing is if you were an instructor going into this. Let's say your university decided to come talk to us and license Ginkgotree for your school, and you had a group of professors or perhaps the instructional designers for that department that wanted to put together a course pack and try replacing a textbook. This is what you'd see. So I can make anything new in Ginkgotree just by looking for the plus buttons if I want to make a new course pack. It's just that simple. Or how about I just show you this example course pack I've got. Some of this isn't real teaching material, but it shows you the type of assets that you can put into Ginkgotree. So I've got sections here. This is equivalent to like a table of contents view for the course material. You can have sections that would be equivalent to chapters. And I can add all sorts of things into this, online and print material. So that's the big thing, is that there's an enormous amount of what's called open educational resources that are out there and free on the internet. Khan Academy has been mentioned most this morning. There's openlibrary.org. There's Project Gutenberg. But the problem is there's not any really good way to compile all of these materials into a coherent solution that students are actually going to want to use. I mean, you're really just going to send them to a list of links on Blackboard and tell them that's their textbook. It's not a very good idea. Sure, it saves them money, but that's not good for anyone involved. So what we can do with Ginkgotree is I can import images, videos, sounds, a web page, a document that I have. It could be an Excel spreadsheet, a PowerPoint presentation, a keynote, a Word document, a Pages document, an AutoCAD drawing, and I can also search for books or journal articles that I'd like to license and use in my course pack. So the way this works, you know what? I have to make a new one to show you this. Let's say I want to add a book to my course pack. All I have to do is search for the title or ISBN, and I can license the copyrights for it. Typically, copyright costs are 10 to 15 cents a page, sometimes a bit more. But most importantly, we handle sourcing the digital content of the pages of the book or that you like to use, and your students only pay for the exact pages that you're going to use. A very typical use case scenario that we've heard from a lot of our early signups are that a humanities class, for example, where typically they'd buy a Norton anthology or something like that and spend maybe $100 to, and they're going to read maybe 30% of the material, versus having them buy 8 or 10 paperbacks. With this, you can just specify, find the paperbacks you want to use, specify the exact page ranges of, that you want your students to read, and import just those. So let me show you how this works. I don't know, let's say I want to look for Science Magazine or something like that. I can just type this in, and here's the results. I can choose one. I can view the price and all the licensing details. And that's really all there is to it. We bring in all of the the publisher and the journal and everything else for you, and you just specify the page ranges. Once you're finished making a course, if you do choose a book, we handle actually licensing the content and sourcing it for you. So that's how copyrighted materials works. And what this does is it completely automates a process that's typically done sometimes by instructional designers. Oftentimes the librarian would do it. They would send a fax or an email to the Copyright Clearance Center, or just maybe try dealing directly with the publisher and getting the licensing rights to reproduce that content in a course pack, and this does it in seconds for you. You can even have your faculty do it, or the instructional designers. Point being, it makes it extremely easy. Now, if you want to add online content from the internet, that's also very easy. Let's say, I don't know, I've got a good clip of Steve Ballmer from the keynote at CES and Big Bird and all that big mess. let's say I want to add a video. Let's do something actually educational, like here we go, phase diagrams from general chemistry. There we go. All I've got to do is look for the URL. It can be from any video site, Khan Academy, YouTube, Vimeo. It doesn't even matter what format it is. The internet's very, very slow. So, OK. We can grab a thumbnail, get the title and all the information for you, and just hit done, and that's all there is to it. So what does it look like viewing this content in the browser? I mean, you know, if you think about it, you're grabbing content from this book, from this website, and then from Khan Academy, and stitching it all together. We don't want it to just be a list of links. We actually want it to be something very usable and something that is coherent. So this is what it looks like. This is what we call the reader view. This is all what the students and the faculty will see, the only exception being you know, that the students can't edit things. So I could view you know, web pages in here. Here's a Wikipedia article. And it's very easy to navigate. Videos play right in frame without having to leave the site. There's built-in discussion boards and you know, simple interaction based on the videos and whatever content you decide to add. And of course, any copyrighted materials show up in here also. You can break out, view them full screen, and the students can download PDFs of the books. That's completely legal and part of the licensing deals that we've worked out. So essentially, that's all of Ginkgotree. Once you're finished actually compiling your course pack, whether you're a faculty, you can just publish it yourself. And all that really entails is taking you through a 3-step wizard that takes about 2 or 3 minutes to actually purchase the copyrights, which we front the money and then collect it from the students later. You don't have to deal with any of the financials for it. Or the instructional designers or head of department can design the course for you, or you can work together as a department and share the course pack so that that way you have uniform course packs between faculty. And then each faculty member would just publish it by sharing a link, a sign-up link to their students. So this is available right now. In fact, we just launched right before Christmas the complete version of this that allows students to sign up and pay for the course content and actually use it in teaching. We have, like I said, we're extremely early stage. We're a bootstrap team of 4. We have one pilot university that starts classes next month that will be trying this with a pool of their faculty. And next fall, we have a whole bunch of other people signed up that are going to come on board to using it. Some of the things that are still in development are integration to LMS and proprietary school systems, so you can do single sign-on and things of that nature. So.
Okay. If you want to grab your seat on the panel,
sure.
What I like to do is we sort of have a mini UN here. You know, bricks and mortar, infrastructure from the educator's point of view, and a content provider. Can you guys all be friends?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the answer. Thank you very much.